In the heart of the great Oba River, a canoe drifted silently. With a single, malicious shove, a wicked stepmother attempted to erase the destiny of her stepdaughter. The girl's scream was swallowed by the thick air, heard only by the woman who pushed her. The stepmother hissed, adjusting her brightly patterned geli, head tie. "My own child, Kayamika, will marry the chief's son, not you." But why such venom? Why such fire in her eyes? Welcome, family, to African stories that resonate with the spirit. Please subscribe, like, and share this story with your loved ones. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you never miss a tale of power and truth. Now, sit back and listen, for this story will leave you breathless. Many years ago, in the bustling village of Ife, where the morning sun kissed the earth and the scent of grilled maize wafted from every compound, a chief's son, Prince Akintala, was born. It was a day of immense rejoicing. The rhythmic beat of dun-dun drums filled the air, and the flavor of fresh palm wine sweetened every mouth. To mark his 25th birthday, the royal family announced a grand festival of dances to choose a bride for the prince. Mothers began preparing their daughters, fathers offered silent prayers, and the entire land buzzed with anticipation. In the compound of the late elder Emeka, two young girls matured side by side. One was Kayamika, born of his second wife, proud, pampered, and convinced the world was her stage. The other, Amara, daughter of his late first wife, was gentle, with a beauty that outshone the brightest midday sun. Though they shared a roof, they were never equals in their stepmother's heart. While Kayamika spent her days adorning herself, Amara managed all the chores. She was a kind soul, respected the elders, and her laughter was as clear and welcoming as a fresh spring. Soon, whispers began that she might be the one to catch Prince Akintala's eye. This rumor burned the stepmother like hot ash on skin. "How dare the child of another woman rise above my own blood," she fumed. Every kindness Amara showed only sharpened her stepmother's relentless envy. To make matters worse, Kayamika's beauty seemed dull next to Amara's grace, her dance movements, practiced yet stiff. When the time came to present the maidens, the stepmother made her final, dark choice: Amara must vanish. One morning, as the sun began its ascent, Amara's stepmother called her. "Today, my child," the stepmother said, her voice dripping with false sugar. "We shall go fishing on the Oba River. The prince's festival is near, and you must learn a woman's duty." Amara's heart swelled, starved for such a simple sign of love. "Yes, Mama," she whispered, unaware of the venom twisting in the older woman's chest. Amara balanced a woven basket on her head, following the narrow path to the riverbank. They boarded the canoe. The Oba River lay wide and deep, a mirror reflecting the silent, ancient trees. Amara stepped in first, her wrapper brushing the wooden sides. The stepmother followed, her copper bangles clinking like a hidden laugh. As the canoe floated to the center, the water seemed unnaturally still. "Lean closer, child," the stepmother urged, her voice now a low lure. "See how the bright fish glitter below. Bend and watch." Amara bent, her eyes wide with curiosity. But before she could speak, two powerful hands shoved her. "Ah, Mama," she screamed, flailing backward as the sky spun above her. Splash! The river swallowed her. The water rippled, then stilled. Only bubbles rose, then silence. "My daughter will marry the prince, not you." The stepmother adjusted her head tie, paddled back to shore, and never looked behind. The destiny that refused to drown. Meanwhile, the darkness consumed Amara. Cold water filled her ears. Her lungs burned. She believed it was the end. But then, a soft, familiar touch grazed her cheek. Amara's eyes fluttered open. She was lying on a luminous bed of water lilies beneath the river, yet she could breathe, as if the water itself offered air. "Mama!" From the shadows, a figure stepped forth, radiant. It was the spirit of her late mother, smiling through sorrow. "Do not fear, my child. I have watched your tears. I have seen the cruelty you suffer. The spirit shook her head. No, you are not dead. Destiny would not allow it. With a wave of her hand, Amara's simple wrapper transformed into flowing silk woven with gold and coral. Her hair glistened with beads that seemed to sing. Mama, what is this? The spirit raised a small calabash filled with glowing liquid. Drink, my child. This potion will carry you straight to the palace. You will shine brighter than all others. Amara drank, and a surge of power coursed through her. But her mother's voice deepened to a solemn warning, listen well, my daughter. When the king's drums beat 6 times, all this will vanish. Leave the palace before the last echo fades, or you will stand exposed. With a burst of light, the river faded away. In the next breath, Amara was standing in the palace courtyard, dazzling like the morning star. The drums missed a beat. Who is she? Prince Akintala whispered, his heart pounding. He rose and walked toward her. Dance with me. They moved as one, their steps guided by an unseen grace. The courtyard buzzed with awe. Kayamika, dressed in her finest, was forgotten. Boom! The first drum sounded, a warning. Amara danced on. Later, in the royal garden, the prince reached for her hand. I have never seen you. Tell me your name. Tell me where you come from. Amara stayed silent, bound by her mother's instruction. Boom! The 5th drum. I must go, Amara whispered, pulling away. In the struggle, a delicate golden bangle slipped from her wrist and fell softly onto the grass. Wait, the prince cried, snatching the bangle. Whoever you are, I will find you, even if I must search the ends of the earth. As the 6th drum boomed, Amara vanished into the night, her magnificent gown fading back to a simple cloth, her crown gone. But her destiny was now tied to the prince who held her secret. The prince held the bangle close. I will find her, he declared. Messengers were dispatched across the kingdom. The one whom this bangle fits shall be queen. Back at the compound, the news struck the stepmother like thunder. Kayamika demanded to try it on. Mother, the bangle must belong to me. The royal guards arrived, carrying the bangle on a royal stool. Every maiden failed. Then came Kayamika. I am the one the prince seeks. She forced her foot into the bangle. Crack! The golden metal split in 2. The gods reject her, the villagers muttered. That night, the wicked stepmother, desperate and enraged, prepared a charm of disappearance. She chanted forbidden words, determined to make Amara's beauty vanish forever. Meanwhile, Amara was hidden in the hut of an old woman by the river. She felt the air tighten, a distant drum sounding a familiar warning. Her mother's voice whispered on the wind, Child, fear not. Light cannot be hidden by darkness. At that very moment, the stepmother's charm pot shattered. Far away, the stepmother clutched her chest in pain. No. Who protects this girl? The next day, as Amara fetched water from the stream, the royal procession appeared. At its head, Prince Akintala. His eyes scanned the crowd until they locked onto Amara, simple, yet radiant. He dismounted and stood before her. I have searched every corner of this kingdom, and my heart tells me it has been waiting here by this river, he said softly, holding out the broken bangle. She lies. The stepmother suddenly shrieked, emerging from the crowd. She used charms to deceive the prince. The prince looked at Amara. Is this true? With a trembling breath, Amara spoke, her voice clear and strong. I live by the river because this woman tried to kill me. I am the maiden who danced with you, and I can show you proof. The stepmother screamed, lies. But then, the Oba River rippled. Light shimmered, and the radiant spirit of Amara's mother arose. No lies, the spirit thundered. Truth cannot drown. Evil cannot silence destiny. The prince raised the bangle high. I need no further sign. This bangle belongs to the true maiden, and this heart belongs to Amara. He declared Amara his chosen bride. The river swelled, pushing the stepmother to her knees. Let her carry her shame, the spirit faded, as for my daughter, her crown awaits. Prince Akintala turned to the crowd. I declare Amara, the chosen bride, my queen. He commanded the stepmother to leave the land, taking nothing but her shame. Amara's eyes glistened as she looked toward the river. In the ripples, her mother's smile beamed back. The majestic crown of destiny had found its rightful head. And so began the reign of a queen, born not from envy, but from truth, courage, and a mother's love that could not be silenced by death. Remember this, no matter how deep envy hides, the light of truth will always rise again. Your destiny may be delayed, but it can never be denied. What lesson did you learn from Amara's journey? The village of Ife exploded in joyous celebration. Prince Akintala, now the chief-elect, wasted no time. With the spirit of Amara's mother as his witness, he declared their union before the assembled elders. The traditional wedding rites were immediately set in motion, uniting not just two hearts, but two families and their ancestors. The prince's family, led by his most trusted uncle, offered a generous bride price, dowry, of fine cloth, livestock, and large gourds of honey to the remnants of Elder Emika's family, acknowledging Amara as the rightful queen. During the ceremony, the couple's wrists were tied together with a length of rich Kent cloth, a binding oath witnessed by the community and the spirits of the ancestors. The celebration lasted 3 days. Amara, now crowned with beads and gold, danced with a grace that seemed to float above the earth, her smile as dazzling as the moon. The villagers shouted, Oya! Oya! Move! Move, and ululated in triumph, celebrating a destiny fulfilled. But even in their joy, the matter of justice had to be settled. Prince Akintala, guided by the wisdom of the chief's council, declared that customary law must prevail. African justice sought restoration and community harmony, but for a crime as grave as attempted murder, a severe sanction was required. The wicked stepmother, stripped of her pride and her veil, was brought before the prince. Her daughter, Kyamika, stood beside her, weeping tears of shame and despair. The Oba River revealed your darkness, Prince Akintala stated, his voice ringing with authority. You sought to drown a soul and deny a destiny for the sake of envy. The gods of Ife do not forgive such malice. The council's judgment was swift and absolute, exile, banishment. You shall be escorted to the furthest edge of our lands, beyond the great savannah. You will take only what you can carry, and your names shall be struck from the registers of Ife. Never again shall your shadow fall upon our waters or your voices poison our air. Should you return, the land itself will cast you out. Kyamika, though she had not pushed Amara, had been complicit in the silence and the lies. Her fate was tied to her mother's, a painful lesson that envy is a poison that consumes families whole. They were escorted away, disappearing into the distance, leaving only a cloud of dust and the memory of their shame. Baby, a new dawn. Years passed, and the reign of Prince Akintala and Queen Amara ushered in an era of prosperity and peace. Amara ruled with the gentle wisdom she learned from her late mother, ensuring that the poor and the orphaned were cared for. The market swelled with trade, and the harvests were plentiful. And then came a new day of great rejoicing. Queen Amara gave birth to a healthy baby boy, the next heir to the chiefdom. In a traditional naming ceremony held on the 9th day after his birth, the boy was given a name that spoke of his mother's journey and his destiny. The elders lifted him high and proclaimed his name to the ancestors. Amara's child is named Ayadeji, joy has become 2. The prince held his queen close, watching the new beginning of their royal line. The drumbeats of Ife thundered a continuous rhythm of truth and courage, a testament to the fact that destiny, though tested by fire and water, always finds its way home. The biggest test to the reign of Amara and Akintala does not come from foreign invaders, but from nature's fury and internal division, forcing the queen to use her wisdom and the chief to sacrifice his pride. A few years into their peaceful rule, a devastating drought grips the land of Ife. The Oba River, once the source of Amara's salvation, shrinks to a muddy trickle. The ground cracks, crops fail, and the joyful ululations of the people turn to desperate prayers. The elders and council members, frightened and stressed by the famine, begin to bicker. A faction of old, traditional chiefs whispers that the spirits are angry. They point out that Amara, a woman who rose from exile, has brought an imbalance. Chief Obesai, the eldest counselor, declares, "The gods have turned their backs because the proper sacrifices to the river spirits were neglected during the time of the foreign queen. We must appease them with the old, forgotten rituals, which only those of the first lineage know." Amara's discovery and the forgotten people. Amara, however, trusts in compassion and logic. She spends her days not at the dry riverbed, but deep in the royal archives, studying the ancient maps and histories of Ife. She discovers records detailing a forgotten clan, known as the people of the Deep Wells, who were once exiled centuries ago by a jealous chief. These people possessed the lost knowledge of locating and accessing underground water sources, deep wells that could sustain the entire kingdom. Amara realizes that the drought is not a curse, but a message: the kingdom must be truly whole to survive. Chief Akintala faces a profound dilemma: to follow the old chiefs and risk his queen's reputation, or to trust Amara and risk the ire of the council by seeking help from an exiled clan. Amara convinces him, the strength of a chief is not in his power, but in his willingness to heal old wounds. Ife needs their knowledge more than we need our pride. Akintala makes the fateful journey to the harsh desert where the forgotten clan lives in struggle. He presents himself not as a chief, but as a humbled servant of Ife, offering reconciliation and a permanent place back in the kingdom in exchange for their knowledge. The clan leader, seeing the brokenness of the prince and the purity of his purpose, agrees. They return with the clan, who, through their inherited wisdom, locate and dig the deep, hidden wells. As the first pure water springs forth, filling the land and the people with hope, the true nature of Amara and Akintala's reign is confirmed: leadership built on truth,